Good evening, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb, live from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team, and we are talking about still the remnants of Francine. Now, the center of that circulation has been inland for more than 24 hours now, and it was downgraded from a hurricane to a tropical storm and then a tropical depression. Now it is considered extratropical, no longer a tropical system. It's an area of low pressure that is moving up to around Memphis and parts of western Tennessee. But even though that system is weakening, and even though it's far inland, and even though the center of that circulation and the center of that storm is well to the west of us, we are still dealing with some of the remnants of Francine, and that's mainly in the form of some rain that we have around in our area. We are seeing mainly light rain now, but over the next couple of days, we still have the chance for some pockets of heavy rain to move through. We have been watching the wind die down a bit after being, and we're still in that wind advisory until early tomorrow morning, but we had a peak wind gust earlier today of around 34 miles an hour, and still breezy outside, but just not as windy as it was a little bit earlier. We're also continuing to monitor that storm risk that we have in our area. In fact, we'll show you that a little bit closer here, where we are dealing with just a few light showers. We haven't had anything really heavy so far today. We've had a couple of pockets with some moderate rain that has been moving through. Here it is in motion, and even some of the green you see there on the south side, not all of that is making it to the ground. Some of those are some false echoes there on the south side, but we do have some of those showers to the north and east of us. Light rain there, a little bit of moderate rain. You see that yellow and a little bit of orange coming out here through parts of Barrow County. As that moves up toward Jackson County, we're seeing a couple of showers with that. There's Oconee County right here, a few light showers. Some of those showers over into parts of Walton County too. Again, mainly light. And then again on the south side, there are a few too. There's a closer look, excuse me, at some of those showers that you see from north of Monroe there in Walton County, through Barrow, up through Hall County, and then up into parts of Dawson County, some of those lighter showers. And then it stretches down along I-20 closer to Madison and Greensboro, the north end of Lake Oconee. Now, we have been watching very closely this band of rain and storms back in Alabama. And you see the red box here. This is where there is a tornado watch that is in effect. And from that, a couple of areas here, we had that line right there that is really falling apart as it tries to get closer to Cleveland and Randolph County. But then additional storms still kind of lingering here between Birmingham and Montgomery. Now, the National Weather Service, excuse me, out of Birmingham has canceled the watch on that west side, pretty much, just west of that line of storms there. But it's still in effect for that small area still between Birmingham and Montgomery with those storms that we're watching. The thing that we have been tracking, though, as these storms have been moving through, let me get in a little bit tighter here. Notice these that had the thunder and lightning between Winterboro and Alexander City. You see how those just kind of fell apart? As these storms are moving closer to us, they're moving into a little more stable air. And then our air here in the metro area is even more stable than that. So even though we're keeping an eye on that line of storms back in Alabama, where they are seeing some thunder and lightning, pockets of heavy rain, we expect them still to weaken somewhat as they get closer to Georgia. Yeah, we may have some showers out of it, but our storm risk is still very much on the low end. Now, here is the circulation with what is left of Francine. You can kind of see that center of circulation right there around Memphis. It's that counterclockwise flow. They've had a lot of rain in Memphis with some flood watches and flood advisories in effect. I saw a colleague out of Memphis show about 4 inches of rain that they've been dealing with there, and they have more rain coming down. But what we have oftentimes with these landfalling tropical systems, notice how it's moving up to the north. It's drying out somewhat down in parts of Mississippi, but it's feeding in still a lot of this moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, and that's just one of those bands that's developing. And oftentimes with bands like that, with that tropical moisture moving in over land, it'll create a little bit of rotation. But we have not had any tornado warnings back into Alabama where we have that tornado watch that's in effect. It's been interesting. I've been monitoring the National Weather Service chat out of Birmingham. They have been talking about a few cells having some rotation, but they've been low top, so it's not any type of tornado that's been developing there. But that's why we have to watch systems like this very closely, again, with these landfalling tropical systems. Here's a live view right now out of Athens. I'm going to move over here because I'm going to call up some of our other tower cams. We had some rain in Athens a little bit earlier. This view that you're about to see here is our tower cam there at Truist Park. You know, it is still damp. We have clouds. We have a little bit of light rain here and there. Here's our view in Decatur. This one's going to be really dark, hard to see. This is the one that we look from Decatur over toward the city of Atlanta. You can see the skyline here, but some low clouds. Again, we do have some areas of light rain scattered around in some spots. Here's a view of Georgia Tech, which will show you some of the raindrops on the lens there, indicating still some of those light showers that we have around. And then let me show you Northside Hospital, where we've been watching the flag there on top of the hospital. It has been blowing a good bit today with all the breezes that we've been dealing with out there. And we still have some breezes out there tonight, although that is starting to calm down just a little bit out there right now. So here is what we're going to be watching through Saturday. We have extended the weather impact alert, the 11 Alive weather impact alert, now through Saturday, because we're going to still have some lingering showers, possibly some pockets of heavy rain through the Saturday time frame. So when we're talking about the weather impact alert for today, also on Friday, now it's in effect for Saturday. And instead of pinpointing certain times during the day, really all day long, any of those days, we don't think it's going to rain the whole time, but on those days, we need to be prepared for any bands that could develop with heavy rain, also watching the potential for a few thunderstorms. Now, again, we think our severe weather threat is going to be the low end, but at any time in some of these bands, we could have some storms develop. So we're just wanting you to be weather aware. We've been talking about this all week. Again, tropical systems moving ashore. We really have to keep a close eye on them. Be sure and download our weather app so you can keep an eye on radar, as well as see our updates that we provide there as well. The wind advisory is still in effect until 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. Now, I mentioned earlier, we had a peak wind gust today of 34 miles an hour. We still have some breezes out there. In Atlanta, we're getting some gusts at times, but you can see these areas in northwest Georgia and coming down right to Atlanta, Fulton County, DeKalb County. You're in this wind advisory, as well as Douglas County. That line up to the north is where we have this wind advisory in effect. Still possible some wind gusts between 20 and 35 miles an hour. We've only had a few sporadic reports of some trees down in some of those wind gusts. So here's a look at what we're watching with those forecasts for the wind. I'm going to get my clicker here so we can kind of look at this a little bit better. The wind is stronger in northwest Georgia, West Georgia, and definitely stronger winds back into Alabama. As we go through the nighttime hours, you see a lot of that orange and red disappears. Still some pockets of some strong winds, but the coverage of those stronger wind gusts are starting to diminish a little bit. Now, we still may have 24, 25 mile an hour wind gusts tomorrow afternoon up in North Georgia. But for us here in Atlanta, it looks like we'll hold maybe around 20 mile an hour wind gusts at times during the day. And then on Saturday, still some breezy conditions, just not as windy or as blustery during the day on Saturday is what we had out there for today. We are also keeping an eye on this flood watch. Now, that's back in Alabama. Also, it includes the areas of West Georgia. I'm going to see if I can zoom in just a little bit tighter here so you can see what we're watching. It does not include the metro area. It does include Coweta County, down into parts of Pike, Lamar County, Meriwether County included in that, Troup County, Heard County, Carroll, up into areas of Haralson County, Polk County, Floyd County, and then up toward Chattooga, Dade, and Walker counties included in this flood watch. And we're really thinking that West Georgia has the better chance of seeing some of those heavier showers as they come in from Alabama. The other thing I want you to see here is our rain comparison. We've been looking at these models all week long, and they have been going everywhere with some of the rainfall estimates. The American model has been a little more consistent with keeping us generally between 1 and 3 inches of rain through this period here. Right now it's saying 2 inches, higher amounts down to the south, like maybe toward LaGrange, maybe a little bit more than 3 inches there. The European model has been going crazy. They would go with one model. At one point, one model was showing 17 inches of rain possible. And then it went down to this, 2.9. Now, it is still showing those areas on the south side still with some heavier rainfall amounts, maybe 4 to 5 inches. I still think this is overdone. That's why we are giving you a range of about 1 to 4 inches possible. And I think those higher amounts would be south of the city and also into parts of West Georgia. We have also been watching the severe weather threat for our area. Now, this is just updated here. I know you're going to see this level 2 show up, but I need to take that off because the yellow that we had back in Alabama, the level 2 risk, has just been taken out. So it's really all a level 1 risk. That does include, include parts of western Georgia, including parts of South Fulton County, Coweta County, over there also toward the Georgia state line, where there is that low risk for a few isolated stronger storms. Now, so far, those storms coming out of Alabama have been much weaker. Then during the day tomorrow, we're still going to hold on pretty much in those similar areas to the west of us and down to the south, a level 1 risk that a few of those storms could turn strong. We don't think it's going to be anything widespread, just a few of those isolated showers and storms there. So let's walk you through the forecast track. What I want you to notice, those storms back in Alabama, all right, keep an eye on those. A few isolated stronger storms up ahead of that have been diminishing, moving in, and then we just have a few scattered showers here. Notice that area of rain back into Alabama, how it pretty much falls apart. It doesn't really hold together. That line doesn't hold together. Now, yes, it is going to send some scattered showers our way, and maybe in North Georgia early tomorrow morning, a few more moderate, maybe even some heavier showers at times, but nothing to be overly concerned about as far as a big-time severe weather threat. By lunchtime tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies, just a few scattered showers around in the afternoon, maybe a few breaks here and there. But then Friday night, we'll keep an eye on some of those storms that'll start moving in. This takes us into Saturday morning, where we still see moderate to even pockets of heavy rain moving in. Still, all this moisture feeding in from the Gulf of Mexico that is enhancing our risk for more rain going into Saturday. So this is why we have extended that 11 Alive weather impact alert to include Saturday now. Again, we don't think it's going to be a stormy day or a really windy day. Yeah, it's going to be breezy, but it's really just for the impacts that we may have with additional rain coming in. And if that rain trains over the same area, almost like on train tracks, just more and more rain feeding in over the same areas, we could see some pockets of some isolated flooding. That's why we have that flood watch in effect for those areas, mainly in West Georgia. Sunday, we're still going to hold on to some rain chances, but we do see some improvements there with this too. Now, I'm going to show you the European model going into next week, and this model is the one that's showing a lot more rain sticking with us into next week. Into Sunday, I think the rain chances will go down. This has us with some slightly drier air Monday and Tuesday. We're going to go with only a 20% chance for a shower for much of next week. Another thing we have to watch, though, is another area of low pressure the Hurricane Center is keeping an eye on. That's going to move into the Carolinas. The European model is thinking it's going to move more to the east, spreading more rain our way. The American model is not showing that so far. We're just going to keep a 20% chance for a shower here for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and also on Thursday, where the European is trying to spread a little bit more in here. And that's all going to depend on what happens with that low off the Carolina coastline. So you can see here on Friday during the day, we're going to have more of those showers that we're going to see around with those rain chances off and on during the day, not raining the whole time. High temperatures hold in the 70s the next few days. Into next week, they go back up to near 80. I do think we'll go back into the lower 80s, especially for Wednesday and Thursday. Here's all that tropical moisture. The moisture map showing those oranges and yellows, and there's that yellow back into Memphis, where that's the real circulation here with what is left of Francine. You can see going through the day here, more of that moisture feeds in. So it's going to be a lot of tropical moisture here with us, keeping us with those rain chances through the weekend and even into the beginning of part of next week with just those rain chances coming back down. So here is your weather impact alert for Friday and on Saturday with those rain chances 70 to 80%, watching the potential for a few thunder showers around. And then we're going with slightly lower rain chances here on Sunday at about 50% with highs still in the 70s. And then We're going with the American model instead of the European model into next week. But again, we'll be fine-tuning these rain chances, going with 20% chance for rain Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And there you see those temperatures back into the 80s for your Wednesday and your Thursday. Be sure to download our app for updates at any time at 11alive.com and on the app. Thanks for staying with us.
Bye.